Hi, everyone. We are here with Shannon Scott, who is a member of the Board of Governors, the National Board of Governors for the Human Rights Campaign. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the HRC is up to, what they're doing, current priorities, and we'll take it from there. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Right on.
Getting through it all.
Right. So yeah, tell us who is the HRC, in case somebody
Absolutely.
doesn't know, what your priorities are, and how you're being impacted by the COVID pandemic and what you're focusing on right now.
Absolutely. So I'll start off by explaining a little bit, for those who don't know, what the Human Rights Campaign is. We are America's largest civil rights organization working to achieve equality for the LGBT community. We envision a world where LGBTQ people are embraced as full members of society, at home, at work, and in every community. As far as the impact of COVID-19 and what our current priorities are during this pandemic is, we're fighting for equality across the board. Mm-hmm. We have been and we always will. Our number one priority right now is to defeat Donald Trump in November. I think if I'm remembering correctly, it was, I want to quote him correctly, our President David Alfonso said that Vice President Joe Biden is a leader for our community and our country and the leader we need at this moment. His dedication to LGBT equality, even when it was unpopular to do so, has pushed our country forward as well as our movement forward. It was actually 8 years ago that both him and President Obama got reelected, and he made what many saw was the wrong political decision, but what he felt was the right moral decision. And he was one of the first people to come out for marriage equality in the senior cabinet. So that same year, he also called the civil rights issue of our time transgender rights. So he's had our back and he's had our entire community's back for a very long time now. And so that's a reason that we think that he'll be a really great fit for the office. He made LGBT equality a centerpiece for his campaign and a centerpiece of the first 100 days by committing to pass the Equality Act when he is elected. So that's a huge deal for us. We've been fighting for this Equality Act for years now, and we got it passed in the House. Couldn't get it on the Senate floor, but with an ally like him in the White House, I think that's something that we can get done.
And really quickly, what is the Equality Act for folks?
So the Equality Act would add gender identity and sexual orientation to the Civil Rights Act. So now, where in half of the country we don't have protections as LGBTQ people, not everybody lives in a state that already has an Equality Act like we're so lucky to do here in Oregon or Washington or California. You can get married on Sunday and fired on Monday. You can go into a store and be refused service for being a transgender person. You can be denied public services and accommodations, and the list goes on and on. And this is completely legal in several several states across this country right now. And it's not right.
Right. Okay. Is the current pandemic, I know obviously the focus is very much on the election in November. What are you doing to basically activate the community, galvanize the community to vote, to be involved?
Absolutely. So just because so many of us are stuck at home right now does not mean that activism stops. Mm-hmm. We have some really great digital tactics that we're bringing out. We're creating a team and utilizing personal networks. Tools like texting, social media are often used to broadcast messages to wide audiences as possible. But they can also be used for meaningful interaction, to recruit volunteers, to register, to persuade, and to mobilize voters. In short, text messages, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, direct messaging are the new door-to-door. And an interesting study done by the Analyst Institute found that friend-to-friend outreach is as much as 9 times more effective than other types of outreach for mobilizing voters to take action. We've also made it a priority to focus on 7 key target states across this country where we're hoping to mobilize our 57 million equality voters across this country, but specifically the 3.4 million equality voters who are at risk of not voting in this election, which would be terrible. Those states are Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Wisconsin. If we can put all of our amazing volunteers out there, get them working, get them active, and get them doing these virtual door knocks, we can win those states and take this presidency.
Right on. Speaking of that, how, for folks who either want to support, get engaged, volunteer, donate, what's the best route for doing that?
So absolutely, there's a lot of ways that you could do that. We're launching the new team app, which if you download it, you can join this team and become one of these virtual door knockers. And this doesn't mean that you'll have to reach out to voters necessarily in your own state where you think, well, most people are going to be voting the way Democrats typically do. You can reach out across this country. You can look on your social media and say, who do we have in these states? And you can make a personal outreach through this team app. And that's just what it calls. If you want to go online and download it, that's a really great way for everybody to get involved in this fight with us right now. Of course, everybody's struggling right now financially, but if you're able, that's always something that we need. Creating these applications, building these teams always takes money. Even though I'm a volunteer and our entire steering committee and board of governors here are volunteers, we do have some of the most brilliant political minds in this country working on this fight right now so that we can take this country back.
And if people want to donate, is the hrc.org?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Finally, this is a fairly broad question. If you have a message for the community and you wanted to say something about where we're at in this time, in this moment, what would that be?
Well, I mean, I know that this is an incredibly stressful time for many, many people out there. And in addition to what's going on with COVID-19, I just want everybody to remember that as long as you're part of this community, the LGBT community, the HRC community, that you're never alone. This isn't the first time our community has seen adversity. In fact, we have drawn much of our strength and power from times of great uncertainty, from blatant discrimination to government indifference, from the AIDS crisis to relentless attacks on who we are or who we love. We are time and time again attacked in this way, and it is time for us to raise our voices together and to fight for our community, to lift each other up and vote out those who are not protecting us.
Right on. Well, thank you, Shannon. The Human Rights Campaign, hrc.org. Now's the time to get involved, and I really appreciate you having this conversation with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And again, if anybody wants to volunteer here locally, we always could use more help with this. You can find us at hrc.org, or you can find us on Facebook or Twitter, but preferably Facebook at HRCPDX.
Right on. Thank you very much.
Awesome.